The criteria, as Hashim has told us, is the performance, which is one, and the number of people who choose the schools, and of course the facilities in the school.
But if you hear our discussion, we talk more about it, and I agree with him. Hashim did it very well. The number of schools, we call it highly popularized schools. We talk about those ones. And there are so many popular schools depending on where you are. And if you look at it and you want to do it across the country, you will see it. You know, we are talking about some schools like Nabrongo, and even in determining that criteria, in some geographical locations of some schools were literally pushed into that category A because of where they were. And for me, one of my closing issue is that, yes, somebody talked about TVET. And we have spent our time talking about
general education.
General education, you know. And I think we need to really look at that TVET seriously and raise it up because there are a lot of things. And my brother from Gap said that at the basic level we have TVET.
Yes, technical skills, vocational
skills. Vocational skills. But I know you are talking about primary. At the primary, we can vary the methodology and include a lot more, skills-based activities.
And usually, I don't know where it came from, but we seem to direct people who have not done very well to the technical vocational schools. And so people may not want to realize,
if you even look at it,
it's a misconception.
No, if you look at it seriously, you will realize that to a large extent, some of the students, and it goes to the argument where you say somebody didn't get maths and the person wants to do visual arts. And you say he didn't get maths, so he can't get into the place. That's the way the argument goes. You know, because sometimes it's about the interest that people show to certain things that they really like, and it affects their performance in generally, other areas, and they don't make the cumulative. So you need to look at it very, very conscientiously to be able to get this. And I'm happy that the protocol thing is coming up because honestly, we need to do something about that.
Very well.
And make it transparent for everyone to know. We are giving 30% to schools. Like I said, we gave 10% to headmasters. Protocol. We said protocol. Your protocol is 10%. Put your 10% in. Take anybody you want to take. Add it. And that will be added to the whole placement arrangement. And it balances and helps everybody to get a place in schools.
Great. Obenfo. So the Obenfo means professor.
That's my name.
G-Tech will be after you.
No, that's the name.
Yeah, that's the name. But Obenfo will also mean professor in English.
Oh, that's up to the G-Tech people too. But
Great.
I'm not.
Your concluding thoughts.
Yeah. So, one thing we need to understand is that the kind of understanding we have in education in Ghana must be really looked at it. We look at education as someone who is able to read and write. And for that matter, we peg even our schools based on meritocracy. Which shouldn't be so. Because even if you look at it's very unfortunate we couldn't dive into the issue of basic education this morning. If you look at the curriculum framework which we are using now, it speaks very clear that at the moment you are moving away from the basic education or the pre-tertiary level, you have two options. Either you are entering into early stage of work or you are progressing your educational level. Let us ask ourselves, these students who have just written their Kwasi are those that we started with them at the 2018. Let us ask ourselves, how many of them will be able to enter into the early work of work? We don't have. And so learning in our education system has only been looked at reading and writing. And those, at any point in time we are measuring educational outcomes, the thinking is that, those who got aggregate 1, those who got aggregate 2. But you shouldn't forget that the kind of assessment that we are using is more or less like putting all creatures in a sea and asking them to swim and then using it to determine who is the best swimmer. You see, so the ant will not survive, and you say that the ant is not good. We have not been able to come out with a diverse means of assessment that will assess each and every individual's potentials. And that is creating a problem for us. So it's high time we have to look at that. The second aspect, my brother Dr. Tando spoke about it, about the 30% issue justifying, is nothing here or there. Because when we file the issues at the Supreme Court, at the SHRAT, it was his time. They wrote a letter several. They couldn't respond because they are not able to justify the reasonability behind that. Because there are private schools who are within the underserved communities. It is the government duty to put education at the doorsteps of all Ghanaians. But we go to Gyetuah. The number of Dr. Chagan is here, he has the data. You go to Gyetuah, the number of private schools over there, as compared to the schools of the public schools, you could see that the private schools outnumber the public schools. You go to Obusiankruwa, the Goso, Shidiem, Mem, Dantano area, there are private schools over there that the public schools are not there. And so are you saying that those students who attend those private schools should be denied because they attended the private school because they are not public schools over there? Why are you punishing such students? So those arguments are baseless.
Very well.
As you need to say that are baseless, and we need not to go into that.
Very well.
The end point I want to end is that the issues of placement is high time we decentralize the whole system and have a clear plan of progressing these category D schools so that we can know that within 15 years, I don't believe that it doesn't take a day to move a school from one category to
we must have
it
a plan
takes a conscious effort
to migrate the schools. Great,
yes.
Great. Thanks so much. Thank you so much.
But let me say this one last thing before I go. Quick one. You see, Kofi's issue on the children should pick their schools after their results have been released. Now, a reason why it probably has delayed is because one, it's about timing. I mean, you're looking at when the results are released, and then when you have to even try to place the children into schools for them to start an academic year. You know, so the dynamics are.
But the placement is just by a click of a button.
No, it's not as simple as that.
Really,
the placement is not as simple as that, and probably that is why it's creating the problem. Because if you want to place, you want to take other things into consideration and be sure that you are placing children the proper way. Because it's just by the click of the button. That's why we have all these things.
I see. Yeah. Great. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, guys. Charles Ahetu-Chega, former DG, Ghana Education Service, Dr. Kwabena Bempatan, the former Deputy DG, Ghana Education Service, Kofi Asare, Executive Director, Africa Education Watch, Obenfo Nana Kwasi Gyetuah, Executive Director of Ghana National Council of Private Schools, and of course, Hashim Mohammed, Media Relations Officer for the Ministry of Education.